Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160 and Sensible Don. How do you like my hat?
I love that hat.
You know this is the badass hat.
Yeah, I know.
You know the story.
Yeah, I know the story. Good story.
Hey, we got a special guest coming up on Monday, Bobby Mackey.
Bobby Mackey?
From Bobby Mackey's, I guess it's called Bobby Mackey's over in Wilder.
You're right, yeah.
It's going to be joining us, and we like Bobby Mackey. Bobby Mackey's my buddy, and we're going to have him here. And you know what, Sensible Don? I was thinking on the way in here, I just love what I do.
I know you do.
I just love what I do. Do you love what I do?
Yes.
I mean, it's like the Catalina Wine Festival every day in here.
Every day.
You don't even know what the hell that is, do you, Sensible Don?
I've been to Wine Festival before.
No, the Catalina Wine Festival. Have you ever seen the movie Step Brothers?
No.
Nah, see, you don't know what Catalina Wine Festival means. I knew you wouldn't. That's why I said it.
Ain't no gunfights.
No gunfights.
No shootings. No blood.
I got to ask you another thing, Sensible Don. I was asked yesterday to join the Kenwood Country Club. Now, Sensible Don, I have never belonged to a country club, and I do not harbor any ill will to those that belong to country clubs. I see their purpose. But don't you think that the Bulldog Nation and its commander, the Bulldog, it would blow away the image of my pickup truck driving, boot wearing image as the guy for the common man if I belong to a country club?
Let's make it simple.
Because I got a buddy of mine who claims to be the voice of the common man who belongs to the Kenwood Country Club. Can you be the voice of the common man if you belong to the Kenwood Country Club or have $100 million in an IRA?
No, you can't. No, you cannot represent me.
I think that's a problem, too. Let's start out with, instead of doing quotes and Shakespeare, let's just come out swinging. How's that?
I'm listening.
Jack Wagons of the day. Obama.
Oh, I guess you didn't like his speech, huh?
No, and we're going to get into that. Also, Britt Hume, who I tell you right now, he used to be the main man in news over at Fox News. I'm telling you right now, his analysis pathetic.
He's pathetic.
Now we have a hat trick. You know who the other Jack Wagon is?
I'm listening.
He's my best friend growing up. He was the best man at my first wedding. And you know what? His name is Josh Deters. And he texted me yesterday to tell me that somebody asked him how his uncle was doing. And he goes, "What do you mean your uncle?" He says, "Your Uncle Eric." Now, Josh is 1 year younger than me, and he's trying to claim that somebody thought I was his uncle. And you know what happens when you do that?
Yes, he gets jacked up.
Now, we have great oracles today. We're going to oracle up Ditto. We're going to play a feel-good song by Ditto, which is awesome. We're gonna also do Kid Rock, which is my anthem. I listen to I Am, and guess what? It's clean. And then we're also going to give an oracle today. And this is the first time we've ever given a pity oracle. You know about a pity, sometimes you get pity, you know what, But wait. There's nothing wrong with pity, you know what? Because if it's pity or whatever, it's good. But anyway, we're going to give an oracle. This is our first ever oracle just based upon pity. And it's for Kobe Bryant, who used to be worth $150 million, and now he's down to $75 million. And we're going to get in more details of this in pop culture. But this is for you, Kobe. Just a little love. Just a little love from Bulldog Nation.
You say, I pity the fool.
I pity the fool. I pity the fool. The quote of the day is from Blackstone. Check it out on my blog and newsletter. Today in history, the American gangster, Sensible Don, Al Capone died. He was only 48 in Miami Beach, Florida.
And he died from
syphilis.
Yeah, his brain went.
Remember that, guys. It matters where you stick your willy whacker.
Yes, sir. Especially you had nothing to fix it with.
I am officially living longer than Al Capone.
That's a good official thing.
Boring birthdays today. We have Alicia Keys and somebody else I don't know, so we won't recognize them. No military deaths. Today's forecast, it's supposed to rain. Cats and dogs.
Tonight.
Do you know where that saying came from, cats and dogs?
Where?
In England, in London, people used to put their cats and dogs on the roof. That's where they kept them. And when it rained real hard, the cats and dogs would fall off the roof.
Oh, wait a minute.
And that was called raining cats and dogs. True story.
I thought it came from the cat cartoons.
No.
Well,
You watch too many cartoons.
That shows you what I know.
You need a joke, Don.
Yes.
This is the joke. This is
listening.
the humor for today. Of course, we'll have more humor than just this.
I hope.
A nun wearing a full black habit was walking past a bar when a drunk stumbled out, saw her, and started wailing on her. Punching the hell out of the nun in the face. Everything is beating the hell out of her. Before she could scream, he landed a quick jab and finished her off with an uppercut. She went down, and the drunk started kicking her in the sides. A few of his friends walked out of the bar and pulled him off the bloody nun. So, what are you doing, man? And the drunk said, that man ain't so tough now. Lesson number 2. Bad things happen to you when you're drunk.
Yeah, they do.
I love that. Beavis and Butthead. William Shakespeare. If we are marked to die, and of course we have South Park. That wasn't Beavis and Butthead. That was Mr. Yeah, right. If we are marked to die, we are enough to do our country loss, and if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. I'll tell you right now, I'm coming up with some good Shakespeare.
Yeah. Yeah. All your friend died fighting for you, you take the credit for it. Is that what he's saying?
Yep. We have a rest in peace, too. I forget the guy's name, but he's a federal judge. 104 years old, Don. 104. He was the oldest federal judge, but he's pushing up daisies now.
And there's no reason for him to not stay on the bench until he's 104.
I mean, that's kind of crazy. Are you ready to get the pop culture?
I'm waiting to get there.
All right, let's get the pop culture. Today, or yesterday, Demi Moore was hospitalized for substance abuse.
She's getting upset because the young boy left her?
Must be. She's trying to win Ashton back with sympathy.
Call her. I'll take care of it for her. She don't need to worry about Ashton. I can take care of that.
Do you think you can take care of her?
I know about this since striptease. Yes, I can.
Sensible Don, you talk about me bragging. You seem to be a braggart yourself in your own right.
Brag not.
You obviously feel like you could take care of anything.
All right, that's fact, not brag.
All right. On eBay, they were actually auctioning off Paterno funeral tickets, and one got up the bid to $99,509. Now, number one, if you got a ticket to the funeral and you were somebody that close, why the hell would you auction it off?
$99,000.
But eBay shut it down.
Yeah, they should. But $99,000.
Do you know how
that's kind of insensitive, isn't it?
Very insensitive. Very insensitive. I wonder what people would pay to get to my funeral.
Oh.
Shut up. All right. You know how rich Tiger Woods' ex-wife is?
How rich is she?
Elle Nurdergren or whatever her name is. She bought a $12 million house and then tore it down. In Florida, $12 million house and then tore it down.
You know why?
I'll just build another one.
Well, because it apparently had termites and all that. Now, I thought to myself, well, if that's the case, why in the hell didn't you have it inspected before you bought it?
Thank you. You were spending $12 million and you're not going to have it inspected. You got a problem.
You know, if she ever runs for political office, she won't win because this will haunt her.
But she tore it down because she wanted to beat up on Tiger. That was the first piece of property he bought when he started making.
Probably was.
And you know what? Jealousy.
You know what she does all day long?
What?
Texas Tiger. Whatever.
You took all
whatever.
His money, you took all his self-respect. Now you're beating him up with a text.
Speaking of lack of self-respect, Kobe Bryant used to be worth $150. The deal is signed. The wife got $75 million. And get this. This is incredible. The wife got the mansion under construction that they were going to move to, and the mother-in-law's mansion. You ought to see the picture of this house. Kobe Bryant paid for a mansion for his mother-in-law, and she gets that too. And I'm looking at this house, and I'm thinking, does her mother-in-law got that much stuff?
She got to have it.
But she got all the houses.
Isn't she a young child? Isn't she in her late 20s?
I don't know. Well, Kobe's not that old.
No,
Weren't they go to prom together or something?
No, she was a teenager when.
There's a rumor that she's going out with Seal.
That got to be a rumor.
Hey, remember how we kind of mess with Seal? Okay.
Yeah,
yesterday on Ellen, he sang his song from his new album, "Let's Stay Together." Are you kidding me? Now he was obviously sending that to Heidi Klum. Now this is incredible. We go home. And I don't know how Seal's name came up. And I said, I have never seen an uglier man in my life than Seal. He's even got black fingernail polish or black nails. Have you seen his nails? My wife says, he's so handsome. They were brown today. I couldn't believe it. I said, "Are you pulling my leg, or are you serious?"
You know, he has I think it's lupus or something, doesn't he?
Well, why is his nails black?
I don't know if that's part
I
of
mean,
the
I've never seen a black man with black. He looked like he either painted him black fingernails or.
I've never seen a man.
Right.
Well, no.
It was weird,
goth
man.
Guys, the goth guys, but it might be a condition from that, from a side effect. I guess.
Right.
And
then we have
you missed something yesterday. You know that, don't you?
What's that?
Alex's nails. Did you notice that?
I tried to ignore it. We come back. We're going to tell you a little bit about the Oscar nominations, sports. We're going to get into the politics, and I'm going to break it down on Real Talk 1160.
Simon Kenton beat up on Williamstown 90-46 Tuesday, improving to 15-6 on the season. With the win, the Pioneers won their 7th straight District 32 regular season title, and congratulations from Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
This is the Bulldog, Eric Deters on Real Talk 1160. The Best Picture nominations, Don. The Artist, The Descendants, The Jackway. No, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. Sounds like a woman. The Help, Hugo. Did you know my dad's middle name is Hugo?
No, did not know that.
Charles Hugo Deters. Midnight in Paris, Moneyball, The Tree of Life, one of the worst movies I have ever seen, and Warhorse. You know, Moneyball, of all these that I've seen, and I've seen most of them, Moneyball inspired me, so I'll root for it. But I would suspect The Help or The Descendants will win. If I had to vote, I would vote for The Help, with The Descendants a close second. I'm glad Brad Pitt was nominated for Best Actor in Moneyball. I'm glad Rooney Mara was nominated Actress in Leading Role in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I saw Midnight in Paris and how Woody Allen, it's okay, but how Woody Allen got a Best Director nomination, I don't understand, Sensible Don.
I never liked any of his stuff.
They like him in Hollywood,
now,
that's all.
Now joining us in studio is Lori Taylor.
That's who that is?
Who was late. Now, you were like a few minutes late, so you didn't get into... Lori, you know what the psychologists say about when you're late?
No, I do not, Bulldog, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Yes, what it says is that you don't care and respect the other person's time. So what you indicated by showing up late today is you do not respect TC, Sensible Don, and me.
That's what I think. The people who say that are people who have low self-esteem, because I would never ever think someone didn't respect my time because they were late.
We have to point something out to the Bulldog.
I'm a Leo.
That he said to you said to me about you.
What did he say about me?
When I was complaining about it, he complained about me being late, but not you.
Yeah.
Just look at you. Tell him the same thing. Just look at me. That's all he had.
Sensible Don.
I was going to resort to crying. I could tell.
He's a one-track mind.
I could tell Bulldog has a weakness. It's girls who cry. So if he yelled at me too bad, I was just going to start crying.
But is that true? Is that the case?
Yes, it is true.
Well, you're going to hear. I'm going to tell you.
Being a grandfather made you soft, didn't it? You got a cute little baby girl now.
I'm going to tell you a story about what happened to me yesterday.
Just start crying, TC. Just start crying.
Now, you know what the Catalina Wine Festival is, don't you?
Yes.
Isn't that a great part of the movie? Of course, they cuss. The Catalina Wine Festival, baby. Sensible Don didn't know what it was.
You got that right. Ain't no shooting and killing.
You know what? Sports sucks today.
There's no sports.
Yeah, UK beat the Bulldogs at Georgia 57-44. Miami beat Cleveland 92-85 in the NBA. The Reds are lucking out. First, Albert Pujols leaves the division. Right. Now, Prince Fielder of the Bucks is going to the Rangers. Only $214 million.
Is that all?
Now I'm going to tell you about my day yesterday. And I've decided to change this in my blog and newsletter to the life of the Bulldog. Because if we get somebody, and hopefully I'll talk to Terry today, if we get somebody to realize what a great reality television, I'm going to show every day why, if there was a camera on me, we'd have some great footage. Yesterday, I deposed a police officer by telephone from down in Owsley County. You remember the county that didn't have a speakerphone? Yeah. We found a speakerphone in the judge's chambers. So that's where the deposition was taken. And this deputy is only one deputy. I found out during his deposition he was the deputy. And he goes, well, I'm a chief deputy now. I said, well, how many deputies are there? One. So he went from deputy to chief deputy with no more deputies. But anyway, I'm talking about him going up and hitting my client with this nightstick and everything else. And I had heard that he wet his pants. Some of the witnesses told me that he was so scared that the crowd was going to get him that he wet his pants. So I asked him, I said, did you wet your pants? And he said, no, I didn't wet my pants. And I just had to ask, I said, well, did you crap your pants? He said, no, I didn't. I said, okay. Chuck Holbrook was in there. Chuck Holbrook about fell off his chair. I said, well, I just thought I'd mess with this guy. That's the first time I've ever asked a guy if he crapped his pants.
Let me get this straight. You said there is only one deputy, and he's the chief deputy now.
He's the chief deputy.
That sounds like the kind of police department that Obama wants to have, where everybody I'm just president. President of what? I just want to be fair. So, like, since you get to have a president's title, I mean, I know you have like 1,000 employees and it's a Fortune 550, but I'm president now too. Just because that sounds a little bit more fair.
You're right. Mr. Equality, man. I'm
an attorney. I'm a doctor. just throw it on there.
Just make something up.
Yeah, because it'll be more fair that way.
What the hell?
Well, you know.
Last night I watched the history documentary of Attila the Hun, and before I could watch Attila the Hun, I had to watch Caligula because he was first. Okay, this guy was a messed up dude, but Caligula, he just killed everybody, man, his own family. So Caligula feels like he's got to become a big Roman general. He's got to have some victory. So he marches 1,000 miles north. Okay, he goes all the way up to Northern Europe, and he comes back. And he makes up a story that he conquered Britain.
That's awesome.
I mean, so he says, and he even brought people back to act like they were conquered tribal chiefs.
There was no telegraph.
You couldn't get away with that today. But back in the day, you could act like I conquered Britain.
Yeah, who was there to say I
Nobody was there. You couldn't phone him up. Hey, man, did you really get conquered? Now, I'm famous for my quick interviews, and because, you know, you meet somebody, they send you a resume, you give people a chance. They could say that they're the smartest person in the world until you put in the work, you never know. Well, this paralegal, he graduated from paralegal school, he claims he wants to be a paralegal, but he can't find a job. I said, well, I don't really need you, but if you want to work for free, I'll find something for you to do. So he said, okay. So he showed up yesterday. I talked to him for 5 minutes. I said, okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go review these documents. Fine, you got a job. And it dawned on me last night, I now have a slave.
You do.
Is that illegal?
But you shouldn't tell the world.
I mean, is that illegal? I mean, I got somebody who's going to work for me for free.
He volunteered.
Isn't that slave?
No, he volunteered.
Oh, he volunteered.
He can't volunteer to be a slave.
Help him. Help him. Help him with the definition of slave.
I'm trying to work on it.
Now, speaking about being a softie, I told this story where this lawyer called me up and wanted a job. He comes to see me, and my staff informs me that they thought he smelled of alcohol. Okay? And I didn't notice it. You know, he was pretty far away from me. So I sent him an email. I said, you know, hey, my staff kind of said something, you know, you may have been drunk, they smelled alcohol, and they said your door was open, and your car, when you came in, you left your door open. So this is what this guy says. He goes, oh man, my door just won't latch. It's not that's the problem. It wasn't me. And he goes, I just had a couple beers with my buddy before I drove over there, and that's why I got lost. I should have done a map quest. He was only an hour late. So I said, all right, man, listen, I'm going to give you a chance. And I said, but don't mess it up and do not let me down. So on Monday, we delivered some files to him. All right. Now he calls me on Monday at about 4:30. And he says, hey, I'm going to take care of this thing in Claremont County for you. Claremont County. This is good. Arraignment at 8:30. Thank you for taking care of it. I really appreciate that because he's from Claremont County. Thank you very much. Yesterday, I get done with the radio show, and I start getting texts from my staff. He didn't show up. I said, who didn't show up? He goes, that guy you just hired. I said, his first day? The first day he didn't show up? You kidding me? So it comes around 9:30. The client calls, and the guy never does show up. Thank God the client loves me and he's okay with it. Well, I finally got a hold of the guy at like 9:45. And I said, hey, where the hell were you? He goes, well, I was in Hamilton County. I said, what do you mean you were in Hamilton County? He said, well, I called them and got that moved. I said, wait a minute. We talked last night. You didn't tell me you had to be in Hamilton County. You were going to Claremont County. I said, I give you some work. I give you a chance, and you screw up the first day, the first assignment. I said, in my best Trump voice, you're fired. And I said, I want the files back. Well, this is funny. He goes, well, I'll bring them back to you, dude, man. I'll bring them back. So later in the morning, he brings back these files, and I didn't come out and see him. My office staff told me he looked like he'd been up all night. There ain't no way he made it to any courtroom yesterday.
Unless it was a DUI.
So here I am being a softie. being a softy, giving a guy a chance.
Making it fair.
And look what happens.
Yep.
So, the moral of the story is go through life being a mean SOB.
My daddy says no good deed goes unpunished.
You're right.
I'm starting to believe it.
He's right. There's no good deed goes unpunished.
Your first hint was the alcohol. That was your first hint.
I think the door being open.
That might be your
He
second
doesn't have a good eye attention to detail.
Door being open.
Dude, if you can't shut your door, I'm not really sure what to look at these documents for me.
All right, maybe that should have been a clue for me. Well, I just, you know what? I just knocked down my lawyer rating in this town.
You sure did.
You're about this juror. There's a juror that didn't show up for jury duty, just like the lawyer didn't show up. And this judge made him walk around the courthouse with a sandwich placard saying, "I failed to appear for jury duty." Can you imagine what a torque jackwagon you feel like? I'm the naughty juror that didn't show up.
I got a sandwich board.
And then there's other people driving by. That's what happens when I don't show up
I
for
will
jury
show. I will
duty.
show.
He sent a message.
Also on the legal front, this is funny. Lisa Industries has recalled 346 cases of living alfalfa sprouts due to salmonella contamination. You know what I say? You shouldn't freaking eat alfalfa sprouts
Start
anyway.
off with, right. Number one, you don't
Eat
need
more
alfalfa.
processed food.
Eat more processed food. When we come back, we're going to have a little bit more law, and then we're going to dive into Barack
Deep
Obama's
Thoughts
State
by
of the
Bulldog.
Union address. Deep Thoughts by Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Laura Ingram follows me. You can get your radio addiction fix. History today. Thomas Riley Marshall came to prominence as a progressive governor of Indiana. Known for his intelligence and integrity, he was elected vice president in 1912. Some marked him as a man with great prospects. But Marshall was cursed with a flaw that has proved fatal to many a political career. He had a keen sense of humor and wasn't shy about using it. As a result, he came to be viewed by some contemporaries, can you imagine being Stiffo Woodrow Wilson's vice president, as a bit of a lightweight. But it was because of his sense of humor that we remember him at all today. As vice president, Marshall presided over the Senate. One day, Senator Joseph Bristow of Kansas was making a long and tedious speech about what was the matter with the country and how to fix it. Paragraph after paragraph began with the phrase, "What this country needs is," what this country needs is. Finally, the vice president had enough. As Bristow droned off, Marshall leaned down to the Senate clerk, Henry Rose, and spoke to him in a stage whisper that everyone could hear. "Henry, what this country really needs is a good 5-cent cigar." Marshall's remark punctured Bristow's pomposity and captured the nation's fancy. The vice president was deluged with boxes of cigars from people across the country, and his remark was remembered long after his name faded. How you like that, Doc?
I do like that. I had no idea where that saying came from, and I think you probably ought to say that on the air, and you could get a bunch of cigars.
What this good country needs is a 5-cent cigar.
A
There
good
you go.
5-cent cigar.
Dr. Kurtzman from Kurtzman Plastic Surgery has joined us. I don't look at. Do you think Lori needs any work?
Careful.
No one needs any work. They want work sometimes.
That was a good response. All right, remember
That was awesome.
Remember the cruise ship? The cruise ship, our Poseidon Adventure, the Concordia Coaster, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Remember how they were going to offer 30% discount on future cruises?
Yeah.
The American lawyers are involved now, and they're filing a $510 million lawsuit.
Is that all?
$160,000 per passenger.
Did they give a 30% discount on what they were asking for?
I don't know. Now get this. This sounds like a jackwagon lawyer. A New York City man has filed a lawsuit against jailers at the Vernon C. Bain Center where he is incarcerated for failing to find jail uniforms that fit him. The 400-pound man claims he was forced to wear the same pair of sweats and T-shirts for 8 months, washing them himself in the shower because jail officials did nothing to find his size. And he wants $1 million.
That's not fair. It wasn't fair.
You're taking away his civil rights, aren't you?
I say let him be naked. With 400 pounds, he's not going to get cold, is he?
They're feeding him. So
Don't you think, TC?
Well, they're feeding him too much there, I think, if he's maintaining that weight.
Seals stay warm that way, don't they? They build up their.
Stop making fun of Seal. He's down, okay? He's down.
No, the ones that go, those seals.
I think he's saying that now, too.
Speaking of seals, there's plenty of seals in the Bering Strait where Russia connects to us. They're putting webcams in voting booths. Now, can you imagine this? Comrade, come here. Let's go over the film. Let's go over the tape. Why did you push that button? Webcams in voting booths. That's crazy, man.
Sounds about right to me.
Why did you vote like that?
That's Big Brother.
There's something wrong with that concept.
All right, let's get to topic A. I kind of like the first 30 minutes to be a little light, usually even the hour, because, our early listeners, they don't want to have too much heavy things to deal with. Which one of you, if any, watched the State of the Union address?
I watched it, absolutely.
All right, Lori did.
It.
Sensible. I shouldn't even ask Sensible Don.
Don't ask me about that.
So what'd you think, Dr. Kurtzman?
Oh, I think it's the usual rhetoric. I think it's it's basically a speech running for president. I mean, he's trying to say, we're ready. We've been doing this, this, and this, and it's so interesting to see the applause and see the faces and see the upbeat and using people like Representative Giffords out of Arizona as one of her calling cards and using this woman and that woman. I mean, it's Hollywood. He's just trying to be more Hollywood. I mean, he's trying to up his ante for president. It's
a bunch of crock is what it is.
Well, that's
phony BS.
That's exactly what it is.
Your comments, Lori.
Well, I thought it was interesting, and I wish I could remember every statistic you gave yesterday because I thought they were fantastic. But I think one of them was he was talking about how great the cars were now, the automobile industry, and talking about GM being number one in the world. And he talked about how many cars, and he didn't. But you gave the interesting stats yesterday.
With 1985, we bought 11 million cars. Last year, we bought half as many, 5 million cars.
And the average life of a car was 10 years.
10 years instead of 6.
So, like he talked about the it's like it's so way he just skews the truth and makes it sound so great. And I'm like, well, yeah, when we're in a crap pile, it's better. We're at the top of the crap pile now, but we're nowhere where we were. We're at the height of our.
I broke this down in his own words, and I'm going to follow up what you just said with something pertaining to how he manipulates things. He said, in 22 months, business has created 3 million jobs.
Yes.
That's a fact. All right. Now, what's he smoking? Now, is that a fact? Sure. But you know what? We've had massive net job losses. So has business created 3 million jobs? Sure they have. But we've also had massive job losses. But he doesn't want to count those.
And does he want to talk about what kind of jobs they were? Were they white-collar jobs? Were they blue-collar jobs? And I think the American public would be very surprised at the types of jobs that were created in those 3 million jobs.
Well, any job's a good job. I can tell you that. But I want to say this other statistic I shared with everybody yesterday is the job, what people consider quality jobs, they're not.
Right.
Over 40% of the Americans are considered poverty line. That's scary. 57% of the kids.
Well, you think about that. That's a good thing.
He started off with where hard work pays off, where America hard work pays off. Do you feel like Barack Obama believes that statement, Sensible Don?
Absolutely. He worked hard. He's a millionaire. Yes, he believes it.
And he says where responsibility is rewarded. You think responsibility is rewarded in this country, Lori Taylor?
Sure, if you look at responsibility by, every time you become responsible, they make you more responsible by asking you to pay more taxes so you can be more responsible for the bad decisions being made in Washington. Yeah,
well, Obamacare is going to give you an abortion. Obamacare is going to give you this. We're going to give health care, unemployment benefits forever. We're going to keep those unemployment benefits forever. And I can tell you right now, I have hired or offered people jobs, and they've said, no, I'm better off staying on my unemployment.
You know what I hate that he does? And I know why, because the 1 or 2% of the people in the country aren't going to get anybody elected. I get that. But I hate when he gets up there and he talks about the people making the most money, which allegedly, which we would assume those people are working very hard to make that money. And he acts like they're the devil. And what I want to ask him is, who does he think is creating these jobs? Who does he think is creating the jobs that he's bragging about right there? It said people who have small businesses, medium-sized businesses that are adding employees. To your point, they're probably not highly skilled, but
he made the comment, banks paying bonuses with other people's money, and I thought to myself, he doesn't mind spending the taxpayers' money on Solyndra and everything else. I mean, he's incredible. I'll tell you right now, Barack Obama, he's willing to just lie and just stand there and act like, I mean, he's incredible.
It's pure socialism. That's all he wants. It's very simple. I mean, it's kind of scary. I mean, he sits there saying this, that, I created 3 million jobs, but yeah, you're right. We lost 5 million jobs. So is that a good thing?
He says this. He goes, we want a federal government which is leaner, meaner, and more responsible to the American people. He's grown the federal government more than it ever has. The federal government's payroll, the federal government's jobs have gone way, way, way up.
You know what this?
And then he wants to create more agencies, including the Trade Enforcement Unit. He wants to spend more tax dollars on green energy, and he wants bonuses for teachers. I got a comment. Why in the do teachers deserve bonuses for doing their damn jobs? I crack up. Teachers, we're going to give them bonuses for doing their damn job.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I mean, I had a dad that grew up as a teacher. I do think it's a very tough job right now. And
So's being a fireman and a lawyer and a garbage picker.
I know, but
a bus driver.
No, I understand all those jobs are hard.
But my point, I want to make the teacher thing. I didn't want to water down the issue. Isn't it incredible that he can act like he wants a leaner federal government, Dr. Kurtzman?
It's a bunch of crap. He doesn't want to. He says it's rhetoric. He's trying to get elected. But what he says, what he does is the truth, and you see what he does. And it's so funny. You hear all these people saying, "Oh my God, yes, the deficit's up. Yes, this is worse. Yes, it's worse." But if we had Bush, it'd be even worse than that. I mean, they're still trying to blame Bush. So he takes credit for every positive and blames Bush for every negative. It's time. He's been there 3 years. It's time to take responsibility,
yes,
as he said.
Bulldog, could I add something? Do you mind? One thing on the 2008, he talked about, he's a blamer. He's not a hater, he's a blamer, and he talks about how
he was a job blogger.
Yeah, and he said 2008, we don't want to get back to where we were. Like, he's reminding everyone that he got handed the scrap pile, and I'm like, that's really not an accurate picture of what happened, and I hope you expand on that a little bit, because
he says we need smart regulations and eliminate rules that make no sense. This was one of the best. I guess smartphones, we're going to now have smart regulations and eliminate rules. How about eliminating Obamacare, Dodd-Frank, Sarbanes-Oxley? I mean, smart. Have you ever heard of this is a smart regulation, Dr. Kurtzman. This is not a dumb regulation.
Right.
This is a smart regulation.
Tired of those dumb ones.
When we come back, we're going to talk about his lower the temperature comment, consensus against common sense, and more on Real Talk 1160.
Have your thesaurus ready at noon today. Dennis Miller, noon to 2 on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
This is the Bulldog, Eric Deters on Real Talk 1160. I mean, I took notes while I watched this speech. Lower the temperature. And he says, no one thought about politics or self and SEAL Team 6, and they had each other back. I mean, I wanted to puke. Rather than take advantage of the information that we had secured in the raid, the military didn't want to go out there and publicize it. Barack Obama goes running out and tell the world that bin Laden was dead. So then all the terrorists that he was communicating with knew about it. I mean, it's incredible that he uses that metaphor. And then he says, nobody cares about politics. He campaigns 365 days and leaves today to go on a 5-state trip in 3 days, all swing states, Dr. Kurtzman. I mean, this guy is incredible what he can say with a straight face.
And the people go for it. That's the scary part. They listen to it. He's on his trip now. He's going to all these Midwest major states that are swing votes, as you said. He does talk a good game. I was listening to the TV last night, the State of the Union address. He's setting that whole thing up. He's saying, oh, they got each other's back. And you knew what was coming next. I mean, it's like talking about knowing the punchline to a joke 5 minutes. He spent so much time setting that up to make him look good, to make the Republican Congress look bad. It was just ridiculous. It was nauseating.
I can't stand any more of this brainwashing.
He said, sensible, Don, we need to build consensus against common sense ideas. And then he quotes Lincoln, government should only do what man can't do for himself. Are you kidding me? This is a socialist. I mean, he wants government to give people an education. No kidding. He wants government to give people education from birth through college. He wants us to pay for health care from birth through college. He even had the nerve to act like Obamacare was just privatization of the health care system.
So why is he saying that?
Here's why he's saying it. I figured out. You know why he said all these things? He said all these things for those people that don't really pay attention and don't know squat, that might tune in to the State of the Union address, and when they hear him say all these things and they're not paying attention, they're like, well, man, it sounds like he's doing all right.
That's right.
Well, that's the problem. There's too much. We've talked about it so many times. There's so much passivity to the American public. People don't care if things are good for them. They're okay.
Thank you.
But it's just ridiculous. And all these people that say, "Oh well, it's all trying to fix Bush's stuff and fix," it's just nauseating.
I'm going to walk out on a plank because if I misheard this, I will be called a fool. But I swore that I heard him say when he's talking about banks and everything else that nobody's going to be left holding the bag. He said, "You will be required to have a living will."
He doesn't care about the Constitution. It's a suggestion.
No. Anyway, I swear I thought I heard him say you're going to be required to have a living will. Now, if he said that, are you kidding me? They're going to make people. First of all, a living will has to do with what you do. Your final hours, extreme measures to keep you alive. It has nothing to do with your assets. But did I hear him right? I mean, I didn't have time this morning to check the content of the speech because they put it up. But I'm not kidding. I thought he said we're going to require you to have a living will.
So here's my question.
In other words, if you borrow money, you got to do a will. Are you?
You know what I found that's interesting about that, though, and I don't know if he said that, I didn't hear that, but if he did say that, what's interesting is
I heard it.
They changed the rules to put more pressure on the individual to conform. But my question is, why don't you change the policy? Look, here's the thing. If you don't have a living will, here's our policy. If your heart starts beating, you're dead. Instead of keeping them alive for 900 million months because they don't have a living will, and so no one can actually put them out of their misery, and so they stay on, they can't pay their bills.
75% of health costs are end of life.
That's what I'm saying.
Last 6 months of life.
Last 6 months of life.
Yes.
So why don't they just switch the policy of saying and that way I think people then, if they give a crap, will say, well, you know what? If I get hurt, I want to live forever. And some people don't. So if you don't have a living will, do you see what I'm saying? Then that's just a policy. After 3 days, you're done. I think then the people care will go get a living will instead of making everyone get a living will.
The bottom line is that if he said that, everybody should be jumping up and down because they're going to have a federal regulation. If you borrow money from a bank, they're going to decide what will. You can have a living will, which is kind of fun. He's a lawyer. It doesn't have anything to do with it anyway. Dr. Kirchman, he says he wants everybody to play by the same rules. Are you kidding me? We have nearly 3,000 exemptions to Obamacare. He ignores the Constitution in his appointments when Congress leaves town. I mean, this guy doesn't follow any rules.
Well, it's the old
he's got the nerve to say, everybody plays by the same rules. Oh, really, Barack?
Well, it's the old do as I say, not as I do problem, which has been for 3 years now. I think you have to do things by example. I think if you want people to do something, you have to do it yourself. It's like at work, if I don't mind doing anything, any job, I'll clean the floors, whatever it takes to make the business run. But there's some elitists like Obama who tells people what to do, who wants to pay them forever for not working. I mean, it's ridiculous. You have all these jobs that are available, but people don't want them because they can make just as much money not working. It's absurd.
Well, let me ask you a question. So we're talking about what he's talking about. We're talking about this fair thing. Obama says it over and over again. If you're not paying attention, everyone needs to pay attention. So let me ask you this. So my son plays football. He's in the 9th grade, and he happens to start on the senior football team, okay? He's $120, maybe $130, but they call him 210 because it's like he's 210 pounds, but he's a little, he's thin. So what is this fair thing? So if you're in a football game, do we go to the other coach and say, hey, look, we've got this kid. He's only like $120 and your kid's like 200. So he can't hit as hard on this kid because that wouldn't be fair. And we all need to play by the same rules because we don't want anyone to get hurt. Because that's the kind of thing I think Obama is doing in our country. And that may sound really basic for people, but I think people need to break it down to the basics because he makes it so complicated with things they don't understand.
Well, he wants it. He wants everybody to be equal. He said this. He goes, he does not want economics. Go on your own economics. Who ever heard of that? We don't want you to go on your own. Hey, guys, I'm a lawyer, okay? And, Dr. Kurtzman, can you give me some of your money to help me with my law practice? And Lori, can you come help me work in the office for free sometime? And Sensible Don, can you do deliveries for my law office? I mean, because I don't want to go alone in my law practice. I want all of you here and everybody else there to help me in my law practice. I mean, that is the socialist, communist, incredible thinking. And then finally, this is my final comment, and I'll give everybody else final comments. He starts out, he declares, this is so unbelievable, that the American dream is under siege. He's the one who's got it under siege with the debt and the borrowing and Obamacare and Dodd-Frank and the lack of credit and the economy. So in other words, he's the one that gets America under siege, and then he declares it an emergency.
He's leading the charge.
Sensible Don. Our president is sieging America, and he wants to tell us that it's under siege and we got to do something about it when he's the sieger.
Why do people get upset about a typical politician's rhetoric? They got to say the same thing to get the dummies to vote for him. That 45% will vote for him because they want to ride in the wagon, Bulldog. Why don't you understand that?
We get revved up because we care, Don.
It ain't going to happen.
Go ahead, TC.
I got 2 comments. One,
you can have 3 if you'd like.
Thanks. I like Lori's analogy, the football analogy. You can't say, well, this kid's smaller than this kid, so it's not fair. What would be more appropriate for us is to make sure that both kids, big or small, get 4 chances to get a first down.
Right.
That would be more fair.
It's a good analogy.
Another thing I think that you notice when he was talking, and this is more advertising or politicking, I guess, but we've got to continue the work. Give me another 4 years is basically what it was saying. Did you know that kept coming up throughout the speech?
But he's not. This wasn't a political speech. This was just a. And by the way, those of you who don't know this, up until Woodrow Wilson, the speech was hand delivered. They hand delivered the speech over. They didn't give this big old circus and everything else. And Wilson established this State of the Union. And you know what? It's time to end the State of the Union address. And it's also supposed to be addressing Congress. It was supposed to be talking to Congress. Now it's this Hollywood production. Bringing all these Warren Buffett's secretary in, and the one lady in, and Gabrielle Giffords in. It's political as heck. It's grandstanding.
Yeah.
Lori, your comments.
Well, I gave my comments, and again, every time you asked me if I watched it, and when he got to the fair, I mean, I can't stand to see what the rhetoric.
Dr. Kurtzman, your final comment.
I think the most important thing in this country is for people to work. I think that people like
jobs,
yourself, like myself, that create jobs for other people, there's nothing better. It creates everything, makes it work. More jobs, more people. Don't hold back the big income earners because they're the ones that are making the jobs for everyone else.
My law office has grown in the last year. I think it's quadrupled. I think I'm up to 15 lawyers. I've lost track. Barack Obama and the government has got nothing to do with that. It's done it, besides the government, and through hard work. It's nothing to do with the government. Nothing at all.
But he's taking credit for those new jobs.
I know. When we return, we're going to turn the page and talk some more politics and GOP election on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. A couple of housekeeping chores. I want to thank Greg Orcutt, certified public accountant, and he's written a book. You know what, Greg? I just want to tell you that when I write books, I don't need 5 other people to help me. But Greg has written this book with 5 other CPAs, 6 steps to a small business success, and I was supposed to promote it. So Greg Orcutt, who's an accountant, and I would also say this. You can read all the books you want, and I always make this comment about if you go to a bookstore, you notice that all the how-dos, the people that wrote those, didn't read books to get where they were. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad didn't read how to do books to become business. You know what I mean? But I believe in them. I'm not bashing your book, Greg. It sounds like a good book. In fact, I'm going to read through it. But my point is that there's no substitution for doing.
It's interesting about that, those written by CPAs, and I was flipping through it, and it is actually very easy to read and consume, and it's probably good for people that want to just tighten up their business a little bit. Small businesses, sometimes they let stuff fall through the cracks, and you'd be surprised where accountants can really find money for you. I mean, like $20,000, my accountant found $20,000 for me, and it was a loophole, and it was a legal loophole that I just didn't know about. So I really encourage you to get a CPA and maybe get this book to understand the kind of questions you should ask your CPA to make sure they're working for you.
This might shock people, though. I don't care. You can say all you want, okay?
Yeah.
Business plans, give me a damn break. You can write out your business plan, and I'm not saying you shouldn't write out your business plan, and then the real world happens, and stuff starts coming, and you got to go, okay,
Yeah, the business plans, people spend a lot of time and effort to do that. That's how they get their bank loans. But after that, it's like, well,
and,
day to day, let's see how the business runs.
Lori, I need to remind you about something. Barack Obama. You know, it cracks me up, Sensible Don, how politicians and people in Washington think they create jobs.
Absolutely. How does that work? Explain that to me.
We have a new advertiser that I'm supposed to promote. By the way, John Bick from Rocky Automotive will be in here tomorrow with us. Newport Pizza Company at 6 and Monmouth. Newport Pizza Company.
Little competition for Snappy Tomato there.
Nah, Newport can have theirs. We'll get ours.
There you go. Everybody loves pizza.
Did they send pizza with the copy?
No, they did not.
There's a problem there then.
More Obama economics. Did you know ground beef? I gave some of these stats yesterday. Ground beef has gone up 24% under Obama. And bacon. You know, a staple of the breakfast menu up 22%.
But it's 80% leaner.
That's a good point.
That's from Laura Bush, isn't it? Or Laura somebody.
Now, how you like these charity statistics? Mitt Romney gave 15% of his income to charity. Barack Obama, 1%. Joe Biden, $365.
What the vice president meant to do was
Well, that's a $1 a day.
Wow, it is. How to live on $1 a day.
There
You know what? He must do something. It's $1 a day.
What a generous guy.
That's the number the accountant gave him.
Do you got a green water commercial on the heels of the vice president's
Actually,
$365 charity contribution?
We do have something here. Green water, available at Queen Kick.
I wonder if they served it at the State of the Union post reception. Let me see here. Thursday's GOP debate, CNN, they're apparently going to let the crowd cheer. You know, the NBC, they didn't let them cheer, and it was kind of like a sterile debate. But do you know that in the general election, when they hold these three debates, the Commission on Presidential Debates will not allow the audience to applaud?
So what do they do if they do applaud?
I know. You get shot.
They get thrown out.
You know what I say? I agree with Newt. Newt says he's not doing any more debates if they're not allowed to applaud.
How about if the State of the Union address with no applause?
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
I mean, those guys were bobbleheads going up and down. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I wonder, do they have one of those applause signs above Obama?
Yeah.
I was
The
gonna say, I'd
lights.
be like-
Applause.
Yeah.
You could
with,
almost
like,
tell when the applause
canned
was coming,
applause.
like it was rehearsed.
Yeah,
you know?
you're right. You're right. Yeah, it's a good point.
They probably had little buzzers in their seats. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
wake
clap
me
now.
up.
Wake me up.
Now, Mitch Daniels gave the post a State of the Union address response, and he's a real little guy. And I'm sitting here
Oh, it was
listening.
horrible.
I was listening to him speak, and a lot of people want him to run for president. I thought to myself, he's Calvin Coolidge reincarnated. I've told my staff on Facebook, I want to see a picture of Calvin Coolidge and Mitch Daniels. He looks like a little Calvin.
Might be a good thing.
Calvin Coolidge was good
That's right,
president.
might be a good
He done
thing.
everything. He wasn't into big government, less
right.
government.
In all fairness, I will give Obama. We all agree he's a good speaker. I mean, that's how he.
I disagree. I don't think he's a good speaker at all.
Oh,
But go
I
ahead.
think he's a good speaker.
I don't think he's a good speaker at all.
I mean, you just don't believe him anymore. But I mean, he came out and he has a lot of charisma compared to his. But I mean, when he, after he spoke, I thought to myself, there's a reason why all the internet marketers who try to scam you out of money don't put their faces on there. And it's not because they don't want to know who they are. It's because they look like deer in the headlights and their eyes are blinking and they look weird. And most people can't pull off that camera thing, and he certainly couldn't have. I mean, he should never have given that. It was a snoozer.
Dr. Kurtzman, I am famous for my profound rhetorical questions.
Yes, you are.
Rhetoric has been taught ever since Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle and before. And part of the subject matter was rhetoric. And the rhetorical question is something that is used as a teaching tool throughout this great country and land. And this is my rhetorical question, and I will let you answer it first. The rhetorical question is there anyone in the middle class who thinks Barack Obama is your salvation?
Well, unfortunately, people that have their heads hidden certain places believe it. There are some people that are just so pro-democratic that they cannot see anything but a Democrat. I mean, those are the only two type of people that really think that he's doing a good job. And unfortunately, there's a lot of those people out there that are just so pro-Democrat, anti-Republican that they don't care who's there. They rationalize everything he does. I mean, if people really sit back and look at what he's done, I mean, look at all the prices of everything, the national debt, the lack of jobs. Gasoline's doubled. It's like $1.80 something when he took
68.
office. Thank you for correcting me.
That's all right.
But
you
yeah.
corrected me. Prince Fielder went to the Tigers instead of the Rangers.
But I did it off the air, so I wouldn't be so embarrassed. But anyway.
You're nicer than me, Doctor. you screw up in here, baby, I'm going to nail you.
I know I get into the hot seat. I won't be back. But anyway, it's just scary. You even see, even on Facebook last night, I was watching some of these Democrats posting, pro-Obama. It's like his stuff doesn't stink. It's like unbelievable. It's like, where are you people getting this information? I mean, you listen to his speech, he created all these jobs. They just repeat, oh yeah, he created all these jobs. Life is wonderful. We're moving in the right direction. And it's just hard to convince people to really make their own decisions, to look at the real facts and to look at what's really going on.
Sensible Don, do you think that Barack Obama is the salvation for the middle class?
There's no thinking human being to think Barack Obama could do anything or any politician could do anything for him.
See, I'm with you. You keep saying any politician. I can't stand them all.
All of them.
That's the thing, Bulldog. No, if you're sitting at home and you're waiting for anybody to come rescue you, short of your mom or dad, short of your family member, then that's the problem, is you guys are sitting around, and that's why they want to believe what he's saying, because he's selling what they want to buy. And the bottom line is no one is going to come save you or help you. You have to help yourself. You have to take action, and you have to take steps forward and do what you can to get ahead and not wait for someone to come by and put an extra helping of mashed potatoes on your plate and wonder why they didn't give you some gravy too. It's ridiculous. I don't care what party you're in. That is not American.
There's a lot of lazy people out there.
And they ain't going away.
They're not even lazy. They're disillusioned. They've actually drank the
No,
Kool-Aid.
they're lazy.
No, they're lazy.
Well, they
They're
drank
lazy.
the wrong
Ain't
Kool-Aid.
no disillusion.
Right.
They are lazy.
Well, we need someone in there that doesn't hurt us.
We need a hero.
There's someone that doesn't take away from the American public, that
was that
allows
song?
the American public to do what they do best, which is why we're the greatest country in the world.
Let the working man work.
Let the working man work.
Now, you got one point there. We need a hero, but the pre-crack Whitney Houston said, the hero lies in you.
There you
Right,
go.
there we go. TC.
Whitney Houston was a great philosopher.
Pre-crack.
Before that crack.
The endorsement
Mariah
count.
Carey did the hero song. Sorry, guys, I never have any good facts. It's Mariah Carey.
The endorsement count from Capitol Hill. Romney 72, Newt 11, and yet Romney's calling him the insider. Hypocrisy knows no bounds. That's what Doc Holliday quotes.
Self-serving hypocrites know no bounds.
When we come back, we're going to have a good feel-good song to get the mood in this room more upbeat after we just beat up old Barack. And we're going to have a special gift, musical gift to Lori when we return on Real Talk 1160.
Remember, Real Talk 1160 is on Facebook. You can keep tabs of your favorite talk show hosts and listen to live streaming. Join us at facebook.com/Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
You know, when I think about Barack Obama and some of the hypocrisy, he talks about playing by the same rules, and we have Too Fast and Too Furious, a complete, lame policy. You know, we have a situation where his attorney general, selective prosecutions, it's incredible. We have a situation where he's talking about, I mean, he actually said this. He said American manufacturing. And then he says something about American energy. American energy, at the same time, he vetoes the Keystone XL pipeline, which is going to create jobs. And now, you know, Canada might be talking to China and sending that pipeline the other way. And we now know Warren Buffett's railroad is going to make more money by hauling the oil through his rail cars instead of through the pipeline.
Oh.
I mean, it's incredible. You think Warren Buffett plays by the same rules Barack Obama?
No, he doesn't.
Britt Hume, I'm telling you right now, I already mentioned that. I've already talked about it, so I'll leave that alone. Nancy the Wench Pelosi is still acting like she's got the drop on Newt. He's not going to be president. And Newt explained the ethics charges very well. Now, this is what happened, for those of you that don't remember. In 1992, Newt Gingrich came out with an idea called the Contract of America that included a balanced budget. Now, I checked it out last night to refresh my memory about the Contract of America. One of the biggest things that they did welfare reform with Clinton, is in-house reforms. You ought to see the laundry list of things that Contract America called for of congressional reform on these lifetime committee chairmanships. I mean, just think about it. The Democrats had Congress for a long, long, long time. Well, the Republicans in 1994 win the House, elect Newt Gingrich, the Speaker, and they start their reforms. Now, like anything, when you do bold changes, you may pay a political price. And they did. But what cracks me up is, okay, so 1994 comes along, Democrats get the House back. So who do they go after? The leader of the band, Mr. Newt, ethics investigation and all that and all this thing. Newt, at the debate the other night, pointed out that not at the debate, it was on Laura Ingram's show, he said, I told the Republicans to vote for this. Let's get this behind us. It's best that we get behind us. You voting for this against me will help the party. He said, I told him to vote, because they said it was 88 votes. He said he told him to vote for it. He also pointed out that in the ethics violations, there was like something that a lawyer did or something. He said there was absolutely nothing part of those ethics violations that was something like, something real bad. And having been falsely accused and know what it's like to have false charges brought against you and people jump to conclusion, I can relate to what Newt's talking about. So I think it's hilarious that, Nancy Pelosi acts like she's got the drop on him. Newt doesn't seem to be the least worried about it. And guess what? Neither do the American people, because he just went up again in the Gallup national poll. He's now up 4 points nationally on Mitt Romney. Dr. Kurtzman.
Yeah, he's making some great progress against Romney. It's really incredible to see. The only fear is that people don't know enough about Newt. Some people are afraid of Newt. They hear the rhetoric. They hear the Nancy Pelosi saying things. That's all they hear. They hear the 12-second soundbite, but they don't dig deeper. They don't look at really the facts. And so they say, well, it's Newt Gingrich. We don't like him. But he's a great guy. He's got a lot going for him. He's been there. He's done it. He knows what's going on. It's these same Democrats that forget that they had a president who was impeached just a couple years ago, but that's okay.
Exactly. And how about this? He balanced the budget.
Imagine that.
He balanced the budget. And they want to question his, when everybody says, well, I'm going to balance the budget, Mitt Romney, I'm going to balance. Well, Newt Gingrich balanced the budget.
He actually did it.
And guess what it did? It cost him, because let me tell you something. When he took those Democrats' committee chairs away and he cleaned house up there, can you imagine the animosity that he developed with them? Oh, my God.
Yeah, he doesn't play the game as Obama does. Obama's there to be all Hollywood. Newt's there, I think, for the American people to try to do the right thing, even if it costs him his job. But he does not change his principles for a vote.
When he's going to win Florida, because let me tell you, right, between the Tea Party in Florida and the Hispanic vote. Remember, Mitt Romney, self-deportation man, versus Newt Gingrich, who says, hey, if you've been here a long time, we're going to let you stay. Who do you think's going to get that Hispanic vote?
There's a couple of them in Florida.
Oh, here's some more things. All these people attacking new fat face Chris Christie. You know, little fat face Chris Christie's up there railing against him. Mitt Romney's the real concern. I'm sitting there thinking, Mr. Cap and Trade himself. I mean, Chris Christie was Mr. Cap and Trade. But among other issues. You know, people don't realize this about Chris Christie. He might be Mr. Try to balance the budget, reduce taxes, and everything else, he's liberal. Go ahead, Sensible Don.
People don't seem to realize you should not fear Newt being president of the United States. He still has the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. The man will not be king. He will be president. So what is there to worry about?
That's a great point. He will not be king, but Obama seems to act like he's king.
You're right. He does. Remember what he says? He goes, if Congress doesn't act, then I'm going to act. You know, okay. Sorry, that ain't the way it works.
Yeah, I know.
They're allowed to block you. That's the way it's set up.
That's right.
Montesquieu said, checks and balances, we're going to block you. But not Obama. Post Office. Darrell Issa, the Republican, the chairman from California of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee members, maintains the U.S. Postal Service must cut 260,000 of its 574,000 jobs and end weekend delivery to remain solvent.
That won't happen till after the election.
You know what? Two things about it needs to happen. I mean, the post office needs to happen. I do feel for all those postal workers, because that's going to be a lot of people that are going to be looking for another job.
We don't need no more horseshoes.
But we don't need any more. As long as our local post office guys keep their unit, that's all we need.
That's right. And bring the ladies when you show up.
The heck with everybody else.
That's right.
As long as the Cincinnati post office center's open, we don't care, do we, Don?
No problem at all. It's right down the
We're
street.
loyal to those guys.
Right.
They're our buddies.
We got their backs. Bring the ladies with you.
The economy. Guess what Miss Martha's gone and done? Macy's is having to sue Martha Stewart. You know, she's supposed to have an exclusive with Macy's. Well, she went and did a deal with J.C. Penney. Macy's like, are you kidding us? So they're suing Martha.
I've been to jail before I do anything.
I thought her deal starts after the Macy's deal runs out or something.
Yeah, that's what she's going to say, but I don't. Maybe she's right. I just think it's funny that we have department store wars over Martha. Hey, Macy's, you need to start a Bulldog line. Email me at eric@ericdeters.com.
What Macy's ought to do is
I'll
have a
never
big.
leave you.
They ought to have a big
I won't
inflatable
cheat on
of
you.
Martha Stewart for the parade.
Eric's the real deal. He'll be loyal.
I
He'll spend his boxers and briefs.
I won't
and
cheat
a
on you,
t-shirt
man.
that says, I don't do lunch.
I got loyal at the door. Oh, by the way, this is funny when you brought up the lunch thing, is I was bashing lunch. Do you know who likes to eat lunch every single day with an entourage at Montgomery Inn?
Who?
Jamie.
Jamie Schloy, our office station manager.
I kind of like that too.
I was bashing the hell out of people. I ain't got time to eat lunch, and here Jamie Schloy goes, sorry, Jamie, buddy.
There's the doers and there's the eaters.
There you go. There you go.
I've done more multi-million-dollar deals on a napkin at lunch than you might want to believe, though. You'd be surprised at like some of the
See,
businesses
I like
that
napkins.
do it.
I can write a deal on a napkin. Who needs a legal pad when you got a good napkin around?
You can see you got to restructure your deal where people know if they go to lunch with you that you're doing a deal. Like, I'll go to lunch with you, but I want to walk away with a deal. So as long as I know that, then you'll buy their lunch, you walk away with a deal.
None of this flim flam small talk.
No small talk.
Who needs flam? You need small talk.
And you better talk with your mouth open.
By the way, my office staff.
food in your mouth.
I do the same. My office staff makes fun of me all the time. Interviews, clients come in, they sit down. I get right to the point. I can have a 5-minute productive meeting.
Me too.
I mean, I can 10 minutes. I don't need to sit there for an hour talking. And there's some people I actually train. I said, now listen, you don't have to talk to somebody for an hour about something you don't need to talk to them about. I do. I get to the point. I can't stand wasting time.
That's why text message is the best thing ever happened to me because you don't have. That's
Text
why I like to text
messages are
people
great.
because you don't have. No one wants to text. How's
Right,
your
right,
day?
right.
Is this what I need? And then
Right.
the other person gives you the answer when they're ready to give it.
Sensible Don, you're dying to say something.
Yes, we go to lunch with Eric Deters. Make sure you don't sit next to him because he eats your food.
That wasn't lunch. That was dinner.
I don't care what it was. I got pushed out from
and you weren't
going
to eat those serotonin chips anyway.
Well, how did he lose those 20 pounds then?
He started eating everything in front of him. Anything.
Did I eat any of your food that night?
He did
Dr.
not.
Kurtzman?
He told me about that self-help.
Yeah, he
Eat
wrote
less,
outside the table.
exercise more.
The key to not getting him to eat off your plate is get alfalfa sprouts when you sit next to him.
Man, alfalfa sprouts. Man, they're
gotta go.
You know, it's something I cannot stand that everybody in America seems to like, and I gag. Blue cheese.
You and I both.
Blue cheese. You like blue cheese?
I didn't used to like blue cheese, but I do now. But I didn't used to.
You like blue cheese?
Yeah, I like blue cheese.
You like blue cheese?
Blue cheese, especially with my wings.
With your wings?
Yeah.
Do you like blue cheese?
I like food.
Yeah, you like food.
You know what the blue is, don't you?
No.
You don't want to know.
Oh, my gosh.
There's healthier stuff in green water. No, it's mold. It's actually mold.
Oh, my God. What tastes like mold?
Well, cheese is a mold.
It tastes like mold. My gosh. Jeez.
You eat so fast, boss, you don't have to worry about it.
I do eat fast.
Yeah.
You know what I eat? This is somebody in my office. I get Kelly. I say, here, go get me on. I get something from one of the restaurants, and I eat it in 5 minutes. Done.
Then he pounding his chest trying to get it to go down.
When we return, we're going to have more Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160.
We got some issue going on in the kitchen there.
Going on in the kitchen.
I don't know, smelling smoke or something. I don't want to alarm anybody, but it smelled a little.
I've never had that response.
Trying to figure out what's going on there. So,
Smoke.
yeah.
Well, if the place
I don't
starts burning, I'll leave. Until then, we're here. What the heck? I need a golly, Tim. Tim Aubrey has my buddy sent me a text. God, it's a long one. 2012 polar bear plunge. The City of Florence Public Services workers are participating in it. They can go to soky.org and make a donation to their team. soky.org. All right. In our final segment here, or final 30 minutes, I would like to, Laura, you own a small business, which is characterized small business. So do you, Dr. Kurtzman. You're a plastic surgeon in Kenwood. I own would be classified as a small business, and I'm an owner of some other businesses, which again would be classified as small business. Sensible Don, you have been in management of business, and I'd like to just give your viewpoint, Dr. Kurtzman, and you're a doctor too, so you got this whole Obamacare thing. What are the challenges that you're facing today as a small business owner? And two-part question: what are the challenges you face, and what would you like the government to do and or not do so you can do your thing? And you can answer it however you want.
Yeah. Well, what I'd like the government to do is just stay away. Let me do my thing. Let me create my business. Let me, it's capitalism at its best. It's a small business. I'm trying to make it work. I've got several employees. I want them to work and work harder and be rewarded for it. I don't want, Obama to reward people. I don't want him to help me. I just want him to stay away. Let me run the business. Let me do what I do best, which is manage people, take care of people, whether it's people that work for me or my patients that come to me, is to treat them right, take care of them, make them appreciate what we do every day, and create more jobs, create happiness, create people that work hard. I love having people on commission in my office because it just makes them work harder. It's like you can ask a lawyer, do you want a salary or do you want to work on commission? I want that person to work on commission every single time. I want them to make so much money that they just love what they're doing, and they do that. It makes money for me, and that's what capitalism's all about.
I switched recently to my office to where I have so much work. I given you help me on these cases, and one young lawyer, the young lawyers were all concerned about this. Well, one of the young lawyers just settled a case for $90,000 and is going to make $15,000 on one case, which is far ahead of what he'd been if he's on salary.
Well, exactly.
So it's kind of like, hey, man, go out there and hustle.
Right, go out and hustle, bring in more of those. You'd love it. You'd rather pay him twice as much or 3 times as much.
I want to have an army about 100 lawyers doing that.
Exactly.
No, it's true. At my old company, they used to have a pay plan when you started, and they paid you a really bad base and commission, but it was always, and after a year, you could go off of that. Like, you actually could go off of it, and people would look forward to that because you made way more money being on the straight commission plan than you ever would with a crappy little base plus commission. And I want those kind of people working for me.
Mitch Daniels had a great answer to the question about when he's asked what he wants a company to do in Indiana, and he said, make money. Because if you're making money, you're hiring people, you're paying taxes, you're donating to charity. And I thought, that's absolutely right. Everybody wants to make money. You know, they made fun of Ronald Reagan and, about this trickle-down economics. And they made fun of, guess what? You go talk to these subcontractors that built up nice little businesses in the housing booms in the 80s and 90s. Now, of course, we know a lot of that was artificial. But the bottom line is money does flow down. If somebody, like for example, I can hire more people. I can pay somebody to mow the grass instead of do it myself. I can pay, you know what I'm saying? I can pay for that weekly massage that I do. It makes sense. If everybody's making money, we're all making more money. And when everybody makes less money, everybody's making less money.
And when we make more money, we give more money to charity, which is, I think, a wonderful thing.
At least $365 a year, Joe Biden.
I wonder if it goes up to $366 this year because it is a leap year.
Yeah, that's funny. That'd be funny. What do you see is the biggest challenge to and one of the things, like in my business, I'll share this, is the balancing act that you have to do in business, big business, small business, medium business. You have to sit there. Those of you that want to bash businessmen, and this is the thing, everybody thinks if you own a business, you're filthy rich. Like if you own a bar, he's making a lot. They have no idea. But the balancing act that you have to do between your sales, your gross sales, taking care of that business, and managing that, to make money. In other words, the balancing act with me, like I got all these clients, all these cases, then how do you take good care of them? Because as a lawyer, you throw on top of it an ethical duty, just like you do. I mean, you can have bad business practices, and there's no license they can get, like you and I as a professional. So you have to take care of those clients within a code of responsibility, and you need to take good care of them, and at the same time, make money, but you have to hire people to take care of them. And the balancing act between, taking care of your business and making money, it's tough. And then you have those unknown factors out there that you just never know. Like, for example, in my personal injury part of my practice, car accidents and whatnot, it's obvious as hell. Insurance companies are slow paying. I mean, used to be able to settle a case in a couple weeks. Now it's months. Why? Because they got cash flow issues, because highest year ever in property casualty. They've paid out a fortune across this country in property casualty. So, and they've lost money in the stock market on their cash reserves.
Yep.
So these outside forces affect me. So it's a catch-22.
Well, it's the same thing in medicine.
It's a
horrible.
challenge every day.
I mean, we have people, you have to hire people just to fight with the insurance companies. You send the insurance in,
right?
They say, not enough information. We lost this. I mean, it's 3 months, 6 months. It's just
nothing's
absurd.
Easy.
It's ridiculous. And then you see all the people running the insurance companies. They're sure taking home a very nice, incredible salary.
Well, they're getting paid. They're hiring people, Doc, to say, hey, we want you to decrease what we're paying out here. So they go to work on that. So you pay the price for that insurance guy doing his job and keeping those payouts down.
Right. They make money by not doing payouts. I actually had a patient once who had a cleft lip, and they said, well, we're not going to pay for that because it's cosmetic. I had to make so many phone calls to the head of the insurance company. I mean, it's just crazy that, the doctors are spending too much time fighting with insurance companies to get paid for what they deserve, and the American people are not getting covered for what they deserve.
I love Ron Paul's comment when he said, hey, I practiced medicine forever, and we didn't have all this crazy stuff, and everybody did fine. I thought, back in the day. Here's the other thing about insurance company. Warren Buffett bought Geico. And you know why he said he bought it? He goes, the insurance business is a great business because you can defer. You get those premiums like clockwork every month. You got to pay. Your customers got to pay those premiums, but you can defer claims. You can drag claims all you want. You're getting those premiums and you're dragging the claims. Sensible Don is a manager of a bus line, and I think your wife works in business too at Procter & Gamble. What do you see as the biggest challenges out there dealing with human resources and in managing? And you're even a public entity.
Yeah, the fact is, as the doc says, the government needs to stay away. You need standard tax. Everybody needs to pay the same basic tax. You should have commission for everybody that work. If you work, you be paid on commission. You earn what you earn. And also, if you don't work, you don't eat. Solve the whole problem.
There was an article in the USA Today yesterday about the Disney CEO making $50 million a bonus, and then they had this list of all these other people making these incredible bonuses. And free enterprise. It's okay. But I thought to myself, these members of the board of directors of these companies, and it's free enterprise, and I'm all for free enterprise. But what a bunch of jackwagons that have they're blinded to what's going on in this country and the image that presents itself. I mean, a $50 million, but no, don't get me wrong. That's fine, but I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? Because you and I both know CEOs of these big companies, how many hours a week do they really work when they're not at the country club or they're golfing or, hanging out? Give me a break. They're not that valuable. And then this is the thing I always say, well, we have to have this for this amount of talent. I could run Walt Disney and give me $1 million a year and I'll do it.
Well, and the guy replacing Stephen Jobs, I saw that article. Jobs, he was getting like $350 million. Yep.
But the difference is when you're a CEO of a company that people can choose to buy from. You can choose if you want to buy a Disney T-shirt. You can choose if you want to go to Walt Disney Park. You can't. You have to have auto insurance. It's mandated. So when you have people in regulated industries making these big bonuses, you say to yourself, "Wait a minute, why is my premium so high?" Well, maybe it's because of that guy. You know what? Not that I think some guy deserves a $50 million bonus, but my God, he sells movies. So who cares? You don't have to go to the movies. No one makes you go to the movies.
Well, I agree with you. I'm all for it. It's a private company. They're allowed to do it. What I'm talking about is I just marvel at the concept that's $50 million and what. But you're right.
in the wrong business.
But you don't have to do it. But the board of directors. But I always crack up. Part of my mantra, Lori, is that we elect politicians and these CEOs, and so many people buy the fact, well, they must be smarter than you and me, and that's a bunch of BS. They're not necessarily smarter than you. These retread CEOs and retread politicians, it's like once they get in the club, they're in the club.
Yep, that's true.
On Real Talk 1160.
Congratulations to the Simon Kenton Pioneers. They beat up on Williamstown last night, 90-46. They improved their record to 15-6 on the season, and now the Pioneers have won their 7th straight District 32 regular season title. And congratulations from Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
I forgot to play. We'll save Kid Rock for tomorrow, but we can't go a whole show without a feel-good song. Have you ever heard of the song Ditto, White Flag?
I can't say that I have.
It's a lovely song, Dr. Kurtzman. It's about unconditional love.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing it tomorrow.
No, you're going to hear it today.
Oh, today?
We're playing this today. But we don't. The Kid Rock song, which is going to be my new anthem, we're going to play tomorrow.
All right.
Because we don't have time to do 2 songs. You ever heard this song? It's by Ditto. It's a pretty cool name. Dido. It's called Dido. Ditto, Dido. What's the difference?
We'll see when 2 vowels go walking. Teasing. The first. Never mind.
Did you teach English? I need you to proof my blog.
Spell check.
Spell check. My daughter, she's doing great in law school, but thank God there's spell check because she's a terrible speller. I'm the spelling champion in my family. Everybody asks me how to spell words. Well, it kind of makes me feel important.
I don't want to brag, but TC stands for spell check.
That's funny. Listen to these pretty words. This is for the ladies out there today. It's a little soft song. Have you ever put a white flag up on your door?
I was
Dr.
wondering
Kurtzman?
why do you put white flags above
That's
your door?
That's when you say you're surrendering.
You surrender.
You're surrendered.
Surrender her love.
That's what it is. Ooh,
so I got to ask you a question.
We can sell some white flags.
Dr. Kurtzman, I got to ask you a question. In your business, what's the profile of the person that comes to see you? Like, what's the kind of person that comes to see you?
Profile. That's a pun.
I
get it.
Demographic.
Are we profiling here?
Yeah, we're profiling.
Demographic.
Well, I can tell you come to see me, people that got problems.
No, mine is mostly women, probably 80 to 90% women that really care about their looks, that want to look better. The age range can be from teenager to 90-year-old. I actually did a facelift once on a woman 89 years old. So people that think that once they get to a certain age, they won't care about how they look, you always care about how you look. If it doesn't change. But it's people that want to look better. They don't want to necessarily read self-help books, but they want little injections for the Botox, the Juvederm to make them look better very quickly. Or sometimes it's they've worked hard, they've worked out, they've lost weight, they have extra skin, they can't get rid of it. Also for some women that after children, they have the stomach and they can't get rid of it as much as they work out. And unfortunately, you can't change some things that have been stretched out from childbirth, from weight loss. So that's where I come in.
I have been blessed.
Who blessed with?
No stretch marks.
Well, I don't know, but you've lost a bunch of weight.
I feel sorry for the women that have stretch marks. You can have pregnancies, man. There's some.
Well, that's no problem.
They can't wear those two-piece. Laura, you have not. We were talking about business before, and you didn't. I want you to tell the ladies and gentlemen of the American jury what your business is.
Oh, I own a marketing firm here called Rev Media Marketing. You bring the rain, we make it pour. I just like to say that because my son was 12 and he came up with it. I love that man. I love him. He's my favorite.
He's your favorite kid?
That's what my husband says. He's
my
favorite.
three kids
he's
asked
my
me.
First.
My three kids, all their whole lives, have said, "Who's your favorite?" And like if I'm just talking to one of them, I say you.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I have four.
All right, you.
I have
Just
four
like
boys.
a politician.
Just like a politician. Whoever my audience is, yeah, it's you. And then when they're together, I said, "I love you all the same."
Right.
Erica will text me, now that I got all straight A's in law school, am I your favorite? No, I said, nope. They've deflated her, man.
Well, you're my favorite daughter in law school that gets straight A's.
Actually, here's what I said. Erica, you're my oldest, so you're special. Charlie Ann, you're my youngest little girl, so you're special. And Parker, you're my boy, you're special.
And then
I got special
hey.
step kids too because they're twins. So Cole and Cameron are twins, so they're special.
Well, the key is to make them all feel
Go
special.
ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I have 4 boys and a girl. So I tell my girl, she was excited. She's my special one because she's a girl, and my oldest boy is special because he's my first. So I kind of make a reason up for all of them.
Moms with boys are different than moms that got girls. My wife is a mother of 3 boys, and I've known other moms. Boys are different than other moms. It's funny. They are so protective of their boys. I kind of understand. Ma Barker had a gang. She led the gang. It's the same concept. You're like Ma Barker with your boys, aren't you?
I have to say, I think boys are way easier than girls.
You know what? My girls were great. No problems at all. I was lucky. No problems at all. Sensible Don, what is your opinion of this important matter we're discussing as we close our show today?
You're discussing now, all of them are the same. You have a problem with them all.
Not if they're good.
No. That's a blanket statement.
You have a problem with them all. Look at the jails. The females.
Have you noticed something, TC? I think Sensible Don, it might be clinically depressed. The last week or so, have you noticed? I mean, he's kind of a downer.
Oh, no.
Kind of a downer.
No, never.
Everything he says is kind of like down.
Like he's got a deficiency. Maybe not eating enough bananas or something.
Or drinking enough green water.
You need to go home and eat some oatmeal and some bananas and get yourself straightened up.
Bananas with Rice Krispies.
By the way, a Wall Street Journal yesterday. This is hilarious. Wall Street Journal yesterday in the life section, full page about stress, and they talked about good stress, medium stress, and bad stress. So I picked this thing up and I'm reading it. Holy cow! All the bad stress. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die
soon.
Well, but
everything that causes bad stress. I'm like, oh my God.
A lot of it's how you deal with it. When you're a type A personality and you're a job owner, business owner, you're a busy guy. You do a lot of things. You got to always take care of yourself, though.
Do you know how messed up I am?
How messed up
I am trying to build a media empire and a legal empire at the same time, where most normal men would accept one. But no. I want both.
You know what they say? When you want something done...
I'm talking about a business empire, too. I'm trying to create 3 empires at the same time.
Doesn't get any better than that. But if you want something done, you give it to someone who's busy.
You're
because they're organized.
I love that quote.
Yeah, I love that. And you do. I know you work till 4 in the morning, and then you're up at 5 and getting ready. But, and you love what you do. You work hard, and that's what it's all about.
I get tested by some clients because they know I do a radio show. So they'll text me or email me to ask me something about that. And I know that I'm getting tested. Is he going to get back to me right away? And I make sure I get back to him right away so there's no issues. I mean, because they don't announce it, but I can tell. I said, they're testing me. They're making sure I'm on top of their case. And I do. That's why I work the way I do. But I love it. They say if you find something that you like to do, you don't ever work a day in your life.
Absolutely. I love what I do. Yeah, I don't even call it a job. To me,
I don't see law as a job.
I go to work. I love what I do, and I get paid for it. I mean, It doesn't get any better than that.
Lori, what about you? You love what you do?
I absolutely love what I do, and everyone says, well, blah, 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 you'd always work. I said, I don't work now. I love what I do. I absolutely enjoy helping people build their business, helping them. What I like is taking people who have an idea, and they just don't know how to market it. Like, they actually have a great idea. They have a great vision for their company. They have no skills. And what I was going to add is I think what people try to do, and Bulldog, you're super smart about this, is what Tony Robbins taught me one time. He said, and this is really good, he says, look, recognize what you're good at, okay, and get better at that. And don't focus on the things you're bad at. Partner or hire for that, because it's a waste of time. Like, if you're
like accounting, I do not do my own tax return.
Right. Get great at what you're good at and what you're bad at. Just get someone who is great at it and bring them into the fold, and your sales cycle will shorten so quickly.
And another point is that if you like what you do, see, I used to get up in the morning and I would love coming in here because I love being on the radio. But in the past week, with Don feeling kind of down and depressed, I've had to pull myself out of bed to get here. I'm worried about the guy.
I don't know, maybe a little electroshock therapy for Don.
No, I love me, so anything I do is okay.
Is there anything you're not good at? See, I admit, here's an example. This was a big joke on the farm, okay? I can't fix anything. My wife is the mechanic in our house. She changes the air filters on the front. She does all that stuff. She's like Martha Stewart. I can't do anything.
Air filter.
I can't do it.
Slide a new
Yeah,
one.
yeah. She does that. I've never changed the oil in my car. Now, I was a farm boy, but I was kind of like a meathead. Put in that hay bale. Throw those hay bales. Okay, I'll throw those hay bales. Build that fence. I'll build that fence. Hammer those nails. Hammer those nails. I had to fix a tractor. Forget about it. I was famous for breaking things.
You don't have the patience to tinker.
I do not have the patience.
It's the patience. Not
you
the
hit
smarts.
the nail
It's
on
the
the head.
patience, baby.
If I applied my mind, I could do it, but I don't want to apply my mind.
Because it's a waste of time.
Once you learn how to do something you don't like to do, you're stuck. Like, a guy should never learn how to cook, never learn how to do the laundry, never learn how to do any of those things.
That's where you guys win on us, because what you do is we ask you to do something, you just fumble around like you're just
there you go.
Fumble around, and we're like, get out of our way. We're just going to do it ourselves.
There you go.
You don't think that's a planned action?
I know it is. You guys are a lot smarter than you look.
I'm telling you right now, I'm like, my wife, I'm not kidding, is a freaking Martha Stewart. Cooking, cleaning, gardening, fixing things.
Insider trading.
Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart.
Working for JCPenney.
Martha Stewart ain't got nothing on her. We'll be back tomorrow with John Bick from Rocky Automotive. And more radio superbity on Real Talk. Remember, every dog has their day. I hope tomorrow is yours.